All right, let's talk about showing off. You know that feeling, right? That little nudge, that quiet pressure to, well, impress people. But what if I told you that pressure has nothing to do with confidence? What if it's the exact opposite? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this whole display culture and figure out what's really going on inside our heads when we're chasing approval. So yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, it all starts with something super simple, an everyday choice. Picture this. You're in a store, you see a shirt you kinda like. What's going through your mind? I mean, it seems pretty straightforward, right? But believe it or not, hidden inside that one little decision is the blueprint for how you approach almost everything in your life.
For most of us, there's this little mental checklist we run through. Is the quality good? Sure. Is it comfortable to wear? Yep, gotta be. And then, there it is, the third question. The one we might not even say out loud. Does this look impressive? Does it look expensive? Will other people think this is a good shirt? See, we're not just buying a piece of clothing, we're buying what other people think of it.
Okay, now let's pivot. And I mean really pivot. Forget shirts for a second. Let's talk about one of the biggest decisions you could ever make, choosing a life partner. The stakes are, just a little bit higher here. So what's the checklist for a person?
And here's the wild, kind of unsettling truth. For so many of us, that checklist is almost identical. Are they a good person? Of course. Do I feel comfortable and happy with them? Absolutely. And then, there it is again. Will they look good by my side? Will my friends be impressed? What will my family think? It's the exact same mind at work, whether you're choosing a piece of cotton or a partner for life. So here's the real takeaway. That need for the impressive choice, it's not actually about the shirt. It's not even really about the partner. It's about us. When we put how things look to other people at the top of the list, what we're really doing is showing off a deep-seated insecurity about our own worth. Our entire life philosophy is just right there, out in the open, in a shopping aisle.
And look, this isn't just some weird personal habit. It's a massive cultural thing. We're living in what you could call the great display culture. It's like our whole lives have become this non-stop marketplace. We're not just living anymore. We are constantly curating, editing, and presenting ourselves for this invisible audience. And this way of thinking, it actually has a name. It's called the exhibitionist mind. Basically, it's a mind that isn't running on its own internal values. Nope. Its main source of fuel is approval from the outside. So life stops being something you actually experience, and it turns into something you perform. It's like you're in a never-ending play and everyone else is the audience.
And this whole performance, it has levels. There's like a hierarchy to the display. It usually starts small, with our clothes. Then it gets bigger, our cars, our houses. But here's the thing, it doesn't stop with possessions. Oh no, it moves on to people. We start displaying our partners like trophies. We even put our kids' achievements on display, almost as if they're extensions of our own success.
So what's actually driving all this? What's the psychology behind it? Well, it all comes down to a dependence on what you might call second-hand worth. The exhibitionist mind, it can't generate its own sense of value from the inside. It has to borrow it over and over and over again from what it sees in the eyes of other people.
And the way the source material describes this, it's just so powerful. It really gets to the tragedy of it all. A person trapped in this cycle has, and I quote, lost the capacity to look directly at itself. They can only see themselves through borrowed eyes. Think about that. Your entire sense of who you are is just a reflection you catch in someone else's gaze.
So you can really see the two different paths here, right? On one side, you've got direct perception. That's knowing your own worth from the inside out. It's stable. But on the other side, you have this borrowed perception, where your self-worth is on a total roller coaster. It skyrockets when you get praise, and then it just completely tanks the second you get criticized. Man, what a fragile way to live.
And the source material, it does not pull any punches here. It calls this exactly what it feels like, a terrible slavery. And that's really it, isn't it? That feeling of just running, constantly breathless, chasing after the approval of people you might not even know, let alone respect. It's just an exhausting, never-ending race to nowhere.
Okay, so what happens when the applause stops? What happens when that validation just dries up? When the audience gets bored and decides to go home? Well, this is the moment the whole borrowed life shows its fatal flaw. It is completely, totally unsustainable.
I mean, the emotional feedback loop is brutally simple. Step 1, you seek praise, and when you get it, you feel worthy.
Step 2, you get scorned, or even worse, just ignored, and your whole world collapses. There's no internal foundation to fall back on, no safety net. It is a genuinely terrifying way to go through life.
But listen, there is another way. We absolutely do not have to live like this, in this fragile, dependent state. We can choose to build our lives on a completely different foundation. So let's talk about the alternative. Let's talk about the incredible freedom that comes from real inner strength.
And maybe the saddest part of all this slavery, it's self-chosen, and it's completely unnecessary. This isn't some kind of life sentence that's handed to us. It's a state we choose to be in, a lot of the time without even realizing it. And the good news is, because it's a choice, we always have the power to choose something different.
So here it is, the choice, laid out right in front of us. You've got the display life on one side, it's driven by external applause, and the result is always a kind of fragile slavery. And on the other side, you've got the authentic life. It's driven by inner strength, and the result is a deep, joyous freedom. It really is a conscious choice between performing for everyone else and actually living for yourself.
And really, this is the ultimate takeaway here. That little temporary buzz you get from a compliment or a like online, it is nothing. A pale imitation of the deep, lasting joy that comes from real freedom. The freedom of not needing anyone else's permission to feel good about who you are.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. When you look at your own choices, from the little things you buy all the way up to the big life decisions you're making, I want you to ask yourself, and be really honest here, whose applause are you running for?